Mr. Speaker, I am pleased to rise today to provide to the members of this Honorable House an overview of the approved residential scheme guidelines. These guidelines will function as one of a range of economic development tools to facilitate economic development and regeneration within economic empowerment zones. Amendments made in 2019 to the Economic Development Act 1968 allow for the designation of approved residential schemes within EEZs, as well as the removal of restrictions allowing number medians to purchase residential units forming part of an approved residential scheme. The amendments now permit a restricted person, both local companies and exempt companies, to purchase a unit that form part of an approved residential scheme without restriction. This also applies to rental of property. This increases the potential participants in the approved residential schemes, and in doing so further diversifies the scope of potential demand for residential units in EEZs through an approved residential scheme development. Mr. Speaker, approved residential schemes are essentially development proposals either fully comprised of residential units or mixed use comprised of commercial spaces and residential units. The most recent approval of the Northeast Hamilton Local Plan 2022, prepared by the Department of Planning with partnership involvement of the Bermuda Economic Development Corporation, as now the operable plan regulating the development and use of land in Northeast Hamilton. Economic development tools such as the approved residential schemes provide a tangible mechanism and pathway to bring the development vision and objectives of the local plan to life within the EEZ. In anticipation of facilitating development interest in Northeast Hamilton EEZ, the BEDC developed an online platform identifying potential properties with supporting information, which could be ideal for development. It should be noted that a number of properties within the Northeast Hamilton EEZ have already been identified to be included in this program. Mr. Speaker, as further properties are identified, they will be added to the online platform. Likewise, similar platforms will be developed for the Somerset and St. George's EEZs. A breakdown of the properties already identified within the Northeast Hamilton EEZ are as follows. 23 properties have been identified in total. 11 properties are currently for sale. 6 properties have previous pending approval for multi-story mixed-use or residential development, and 6 properties are in derelict or vacant conditions, which could be ideal for redevelopment. Mr. Speaker, one of the identified barriers which prevented previous approved development projects as identified above from progressing past the planning approval stage was access to the right supportive economic development tools and processes to facilitate conversion of developers' interest into reality. We believe that the implementation of approved residential schemes will assist in removing those barriers. The guidelines set out the policy for approved residential schemes and the process for applying to the Minister for a Development project. To offset the potential negative impact of EEZ regeneration, when reviewing an application, the Minister shall consider affordability as well as how the development project will prevent the displacement of current lower-income residents and persons currently operating businesses in the area. Mr. Speaker, guidelines were approved by Cabinet last week, and the BEDC is in the process of commencing formal public outreach and a PR campaign with community stakeholders, the public, and developers to progress the creation of key development projects. The BEDC has also been informally meeting with developers and arranging site visits to highlight the identified opportunity properties since 2021 with referrals and connections from the Economic Development Department and the Bermuda Business Development Agency. In this regard, the Uptown Development Project team, with private sector experts in real estate, development, architecture, design, planning, property valuation, mapping, and geographic information systems, has been formed since May 2022 to assist BDC in moving this initiative forward. Along with BEDC team, the project team has already commenced engagement with stakeholders and any property owner, business owner, resident, or interested development can contact the team at uptowndevelopment@bedc.bm. Mr. Speaker, it is also important for the BEDC and the project team to establish physical presence in all three EEZs as a clear indicator of the government's commitment to continued economic growth and regeneration of the zones. As such, the BEDC has undertaken significant renovations over the last year in creating new branch offices, and startup incubator hubs in the EEZs. These hubs will also be the epicenter for the project team to be embedded in the zones to connect with the communities they are existing in regenerating and facilitate the hands-on interactions with investors and developers mere steps from identified development opportunity sites. Formal launches of these hubs will be in August 2022. I wish to reiterate that this ministry is resolute that this initiative will prevent the displacement of current residents and business owners in the EEZs, and that rents and the cost of doing business will remain affordable for tenants and residents. The ministry would like to take this opportunity to thank members of this honorable house for the opportunity to address them in this regards. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.